This is just a rant. I never know what to like title these anymore. Because did I bring my water bottle? Yes, I did. I need to take meds. But uh, my school's musical is Mean Girls, and I just saw it. I do wish I was in it, but I know why I wasn't in it, and I was like, oh my god, you didn't make the cut. I was like, no, I actually didn't make the cut because my schedule. And my counselor was like, just like you can skip counseling for this, and I'm like, I ain't skipping 8 weeks of counseling for a freaking musical. Like, I am sorry, but I already had to do that last year. 40 people were casted, and 10 people left. Practically, it was 43, and we had 33 by the last weekend. Raina had mono. Vaughn's parents wouldn't let her do the show. David had COVID all of Tech Week. Was back for the shows, but David had COVID all of Tech Week. And it was like, I can't see, and I'm exhausted. Also, I don't give my Instagram out, but, like, if you want to text me, as into, like, message me and not just while I'm on live because you're like, where did I go? Or whatever. I have a life, you know? So just go there. Like, tonight was overstimulated. I was overstimulated half the freaking night because I was dealing with my father. And a lot of my friends are like, wow, you talk to your father like that? He doesn't treat me like a daughter, so... But then again, it's like he won't understand shit. And it's like I say something like, hold up, back up. And I'm like, I ain't repeating every single thing I said. I'm sorry, but no. But this whole entire night was confusing. Because I was hanging out with friends afterwards. But like beforehand, it was a 3-hour show. We were done by 10. But there's also technical difficulties. For 5 minutes. Beforehand, I was hanging out with the same people. Tio and Gracia just showed up, and it was like, hey, yo, because, well, they wanted to hang out. What the frick? That is the wrong side. I can't see anything. But, I already explained everything to my mother, and my mom was like, he just puts himself in situations where he doesn't belong, and I'm like, yeah, and then he continues asking about you and why you're in Davis, and I'm like, why do you give a shit on what mom is? Like, I had to stand up to him, like, weeks ago with freaking whatever it was called. I'll scroll up to it. Youth group. And then freaking, when I was hanging out with Chelsea. Oh, right, here it is. It was February 27th. And so, we were with our friends and ended at 9 afterwards. Because it ends at 8 to 8:30, and then we go out to eat with our youth group, and I have a picture of that, actually. And mom was like, pushed him to let us. Because he forgets about us, and then when he's there, he gets there late. So my mom, because the last time he was there at 8:30, but we were out with our friends, and he was like, if you don't come now, then I'm going to step my foot in there and scream at you and embarrass us. He's done that before, so we're not like, we're not like, oh, it's not going to happen, it's fine. So I don't tell him where I am when he asks, where are you? Because there's been times before where he has stepped foot on the person's property and banged the door until we came out. A lot of my friends hate my father. There's been so many times where like they're like, oh my god, we all know your father. And it's just like annoying, and because it's embarrassing. He's always late to stuff, and it's just annoying to where my counselor has even pushed me to get a car. Because it's like, but I'm terrified of driving because of him. To the amount of car accidents I've been in because of him. I broke my ribs last year because of him. He was also on his phone the whole entire time. And he was like, "You told the police that you were on your phone. I was on my phone." I was like, "Yeah, I told the police that you were on your phone." Like, what? The police also didn't give a shit about me, even though I fucking broke my ribs that day. They were talking to the 50 people that was just crowded in the street that wasn't even there during the car accident. This is why I hate people. You want to ask about that? Okay, anyways, the 27th, he said, letting you know I'm still waiting on Caitlin. Should be done. Wait, hold up. That's not the first thing. Um, he keeps puts spaces. I don't understand. I'm totally okay with after group that you and Shay going with others next door for food and social time. That's totally fine. Just tell me roughly around what time I should be there. It doesn't need to be exact, and if it changes to be longer, that's okay. By the way, the place closes at 9, so we leave by 9. Just tell me roughly around what time I should be there. It doesn't need to be exact, and if it changes to be long, okay, I just ask for a little communication. A little communication by literally walking into the place and screaming at us to go? You can leave us there again. Youth leaders give us rides. They just won't give us a ride from picking us up at our house and there because then they claim they never saw the message. But it's like, you're literally passing us by our house to get to youth. Just pick us up. For example, if you go next door right after youth group, a few minutes after 8, or if it's closer to 8:30 when you all go over to next door, it'll help me to know when I need to be there waiting. I'll just text that I'm there and wait, but please respond so I know you, I'm there, and to let me know if it'll be a while or sooner than later. And then an hour later it says letting you know that I'm still waiting on Caitlin. Should be done any second now. If she's done in a couple of minutes, in the next minute, I will be there about 9 or a couple minutes after. Although the restaurant closes at 9, they typically let guests who are already sitting there stay longer. Mom knows I'm waiting for Caitlin, so if Caitlin takes longer and I can't get there soon enough, Mom might pick you up. I'll let you know shortly. That's at 8:44 p.m. And then 9:08, he says, it's looking like 9:30 to pick you up. If you need to pick up sooner, call Mom. Otherwise, I hope you be there 9:30. When Caitlin gets in the car, I'll know when I'll get there and wait for you. And I'm like, we got a ride, period. Sushi's mom was like, I ain't waiting for your father. Your father takes hours. One time we were there until midnight. Yeah, my father forgot about us. My mom was also in Fresno, 4 hours away. So, yeah, he forgot about us. Calls, texts. He didn't see anything apparently. We got a ride. And he's like, "Okay, thanks for telling me. Did you already leave?" And I'm like, "Yes, at 9:08." And he's like, "Okay, period." 10 minutes later, he says, "Thank you for telling me so I wouldn't keep stressing and worrying about it." He doesn't stress and worry, he just screams at us. "Please, for future reference, it would be very helpful if you tell me as soon as you know. Thank you very much." Okay, question mark? And I said, "Well, our hands were full, and when we got home, Mom wasn't even there, so she wouldn't have been able to give us a ride." And he says, "I didn't know Mom was at home. She didn't tell me." I said that out loud. I was texting this response, and then my mother literally said the same exact response. I said, "Why would she need to tell you where she goes? It's none of your business. You guys are not together. You don't live here, so you shouldn't need to know where she is. For us, on the other hand, we have leaders that offer us rides. We're also almost an adult. Wow. We aren't 5 anymore. And forgetting about your children at age 5 is even worse." Like, we also speak to our mother on a daily basis. We speak to a mother on events so she knows what she's doing beforehand. You don't need to know everything when you are involved. AKA my mother, he literally called my mother for Shay doing adult school because mom was gonna take us to school on Tuesday because she was free and father was doing something, and my father called her Monday night and was telling her this whole entire day and the whole entire schedule, and it's like, "Mom already knows about that. She told you to shut up." Because she knows our daughters. She knows her daughters. Then again, she lives with us and we tell her mostly everything on what she needs to do the next day and what's the plan for the next day and blah 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 blah. On Wednesday, he asked, "So did you get to adult school on time?" And we're like, "Yeah, we did. We got there at 3:30. We were there on time. We weren't late." And my father was like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have adult school at Shay's adult school, but I still went." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, well, I checked your location at 3:30 and it said you were at the park in downtown." And I'm like, "This is exactly why I don't have my location on for you, and you've been asking for my location since 8th grade." Like, I'm in 12th grade, sweetie. That is 5 years later. That's actually 4, but 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Yeah, 11, 12. 5 years later. And he's like, "Well, you can turn it on and just shut off." And I'm like, "No, I have my location on 24/7 because of Pokemon Go. Don't come at me." So I wouldn't be able to turn it on and shut it off. Like, my location is on right now. The ones that are on is vibrate because I don't want airplane. No, please, no. Thank you. Thank you. Like, and the ones that, so there's Wi-Fi. I'm not on Wi-Fi. My phone works better off Wi-Fi. Vibrate because I don't want sound and I don't need silent. Bluetooth is not on. Portrait is not on. Airplane mode is not on. Flashlight is, that's what it is. Mobile data is definitely on. Mobile hotspot is not on because, well, my computer has Wi-Fi. Power savings is on even though my phone is 56%. Location is on. Quick share, no one, not on. Nearby share, hidden, not on. Eye effort shield, not on. Dark mode is on. I cannot do light mode. Do not disturb is not on. Scan QR code, not on. Mode's not on. Wi-Fi calling is on. Anyways. He says, "I meant it because if I could not get there on time, I thought mom would pick you up. No, she doesn't need to tell me everything. Some information can help like tonight, but I guess it wasn't necessary. You're right, I don't live there. But I was involved tonight planning on picking you two up." That was at 9:53. This is at 9:54. "I know you're almost an adult, but doesn't mean to just let you and Shay worry about getting home yourselves or walking home there in the dark." I'm gonna say this. He honestly does not give a shit about us getting home. So one night we were almost kidnapped. Why? Because he threatened to just leave us. We got home, and this is actually brave. So my mom loves Grace. Grace is my older sister's friend, and she's like a second parent to us. Aside from that, she is 2 years older than us, but she's like a mother figure in our lives. My mother loves her to death. We walked to McDonald's near 11 p.m. at night. Actually, no, it was past that. I don't even know. But we walked through a park because it that's how we get to McDonald's. That's the only way that we can get to McDonald's. And there's a tree that people can climb. Well, we walked there and there was voices in the tree and people's flashlights shining. And so we knew people were living in that tree and we were just walking fast. Well, we did not want to walk home when it was even darker through that. And he was like, "Oh my god, you're just kidding, blah 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 blah. I can just leave you here." Because he complained about getting out of his house and picking us up. Even mom told him to pick us up. And he was just going on it. And Mark and Grace was like, "Mark, just shut up and take us home, please. That's why you came out here. Take us home." And he's like, "No, I can actually just leave you here." And I'm like, "Okay, leave us here. Like we won't come home, but leave us here." We drove through the park. Well, it's the street on the side. and there was people's flashlights and 2 cop cars there. And, well, at the end, but they weren't there. But there was people's flashlights in the tree going off, and I'm like, "Oh, look at that." And my dad was like, "I'm so glad I drove you home." And I'm like, "Hmm, hmm. Well, I'll tell you what happened this morning." But he was complaining about giving us a ride back home from after the play. And I'm like, "Well, you can totally just not pick us up. It's completely fine if you're gonna complain about it, but we just won't go home tonight. We won't make it home." Because where we were, where my school is, where the theater is, where we were hanging out afterwards, aka still in the city, is a completely separate city from where I live. It's actually 17 minutes away in car drive without traffic. We're not gonna make it home tonight. Also, that city is a sketchy ass place to be at home night alone. Specifically when we were at the park and there was homeless people inside the bathroom. Homeless people in Davis aren't safe. I just said the town. It doesn't matter. You can't find where I live. Anyways, and I'm like, we just won't go home. It's completely fine. He's like, "No, I'll take you home." And then continues complaining about it. And it's just like, this whole entire day I've been screaming at this man. He kept getting out of the car when we were trying to figure out fucking Tio's bike situation. Just stay in the goddamn car! He made so many dirty looks at fucking Tio when Tio was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for, like, this being complicated." Because it was complicated! The car is full of his stuff. The car is trashed. Tio did not have his bike lock either. Buses don't run. He doesn't have enough money to take the bus. I'm going to scream. He's like, "Wow, was it that hard?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was that hard. The whole entire fucking car ride with home from you." He also does anything to fight when friends are in the car. And I'm like, "Dude, can you just shut up, please? Generally, just shut up." So yeah, I will be dropping him once I turn 18, and if I go to college near here, he'll be my ride. That is it. Literally it. I don't go to his house anymore. Kind of banned. That's a long story. But aside from that, I was eating my food. Yeah. I wrote this on my Instagram. Just go to my Instagram. Actually, people saw it. Excuse me. So I said, "My father took the extra time out of his day to look up the dangers of eating food that's not been in a refrigerator for a while." Okay, and? Now, that's cute, but I'm gonna continue eating my Chipotle burrito that I got before the musical. Like, he continued talking about it, looking up articles about it, blah, blah, blah. Said that there was a tapeworm in someone's brain for eating food. And my mom's like, a tapeworm does not involve eating food at all that was out of the refrigerator for 3 hours. Like, and I'm like, he'll do anything. Anything. Anyways. I'm gonna get banned for this. I'm gonna cry if not all my meds are here. That's okay. The amount of ibuprofen that I've had in the freaking last month is concerning. 8 a day, practically. It's so cute. Is that my phone? My phone? Is it Instagram? No. It's nope. Sent. Okay. That's cute. I have to do these individually because I can't swallow pills. It's already coming back up. I can't technically just do this. Done! But I'm not trying to torture my body. I learned how to swallow pills without water. Why? Because I couldn't take pills, so, well, people had to physically shove them down my throat, and then I would throw them up. Literally throw them up. They did not digest in my system. Throw them up whole. And I couldn't take liquid medication, like liquid, because I would throw that up right away. My throat was too small when I was younger to take medication. And then once I turned into 6th grade, I've been taking medication every single day. 20 minutes. Anyways, Mamma Mia, Mean Girls was amazing. My favorite scenes, is Whose House Is This? And Songs or Revenge Party, because I was there I did that for auditions. I knew all of the songs. But, yeah. Nico was a great Kevin. I loved them. I've never seen my Link Crew student in a beanie before, and he was like, I'm a sexy Teletubby, and I'm like, Dominic, shut up. Stop. No. But I've never seen him in a beanie before. Like, what? Anyways, Emma was amazing. I screamed when I saw her. I have a major headache. I have to get up at 8 a.m. It is 12:30 a.m. I have to get up at 8 a.m. for fucking church. And then I'm going to go get a new phone at 12. And then go visit my brother in jail at 3. If you want to know the story on why I'm so pissed about the whole experience of going to see my brother, go watch the last live if it posted literally yesterday. Anyways, I fell asleep when I ended it, so I don't know if it actually posted. I don't even know if I'm going to see him tomorrow. That's the hilarious part. I might just have to sit in the car because my mom got an angry call. His bad days last about a week. And my mom got a call the other day, like 2 days ago, and he was pissed off because his attorney told him that he's not a competent to stand on trial, which that's what we want. But he was like, he doesn't think that's the reason on him being sick is the reason on what happened. And I'm like, really? You're schizophrenic. You threatened someone. The whole entire reason you're here is because you chased someone and threatened them with a blade because you thought this specific person killed your younger siblings that are very much still alive. You're schizophrenic, okay? You're not a competent to stand on trial. Like, that is the reason you're in jail. Yeah, his state records aren't going to be showing. Arrested this for a little bit. Because those, you can see them online. Yeah. How it all started was there was this Christmas time where it shows that he was arrested twice. Yeah, I watched one of them happen, and then we went to my dad's house. It doesn't show the date on, like, we went to Julie's house because he never got arrested that day. We're the ones that got pushed out of the house. And my mom was at home, and, and it was like, why the fuck is he getting pushed out of the house? Because we have two older siblings, Kyle and Jessica. Jessica is older than him by 2 years. We're the ones that got pushed out of the house when Jessica had 3 minors with her, 2 6th graders and an 8th grader, and then Jessica, and we're the ones that got pushed out of the house. It's not his house. It's my mother's house, and my mother said Jessica gets it if she's not here. So it's like, why did we get pushed out of the house? We literally got told the whole entire day, we got pushed out, and he got to stay in the house. We had to leave that whole day, and then we were only allowed to come back. So at 10:13, he walked downstairs, put his head. We weren't allowed to talk to him. He wasn't allowed to talk to us. We were still minding our business. I was eating ramen at the table. Shay was playing on her tablet on the couch. And Caitlin was standing by Bristol's cage talking to Jessica about sack anime. I still remember everything. It was chicken ramen, if you guys want to know details. And he is fixing something in the microwave and puts his head in and he's like, you guys are fucking lucky or fucking awesome or whatever it was called. Just mentioned or I was like, dude, what the fuck? And we called the police because there was more things that happened. And they were like, well, we can't make him leave. So like, but you guys need to leave. You guys need to go to a hotel or something. And I'm like, we have school in the morning. And they're like, you guys need to leave and go to a hotel or something. Like there's motels, hotels, whatever. Just find something. We had like a whole entire pet zoo of animals in this house. It was over 28. We can't leave that with him. He smokes in the house. Well, he did. He's not in the house anymore. That room is also changed to Shay's. That room was changed to Shay's before we were 14. But like, he made my guinea pig sick at the time. He made us sick because I have one vent in my room. That vent. Shay and I both had bunk beds. Like, what? Yeah, so cigarette smoke made us sick. And now I'm surrounded with friends that smoke and do all of that. That's great. Okay, I'm gonna go. But that was interesting. We ended up staying home, but it was just a torture night. Growing up with that was just, there's like stories to talk about for years. And when people want to know, it's like, I'm not going yet. There was one time where I was at my friend's, actually, it was last year. It was spring break of last year, my junior year. And, 2023. I was at Riley's house the whole entire time. Well, all of spring break. I was there for a whole week. I went there on Tuesday and I went back home on Tuesday. But I was going to stay a whole extra week because my mom had COVID and I did not want to go to my father's house. I could not go to my father's house. Because it was just toxic. So they convinced my parents or whatever got convinced or whatever for me to stay at Riley's. So we went home to get my stuff. But they got specifically told not to go on the street right by my house where Carl's Jr. is and to go around where the park is. It's also a lot easier because my brother's on the street where Carl's Jr. is. We got told not to go because he knows what the car looks like and he's there for us, but it's like I don't want to see him. And the mom said okay. She still went on that street and she was like, "Oh, what's happening at Carl's Jr.?" The whole entire parking lot was full of cop cars. I was looking down at my phone the whole entire time, and you weren't even supposed to go on the fucking street. My dad saw your car. She said okay that she wouldn't go on the fucking street, and she still went on the fucking street. And she's like, "So, what's going on with your brother? What's the whole story on him?" And I'm like, "The story is literally a 17-year, 16-year. It's now almost 18. 17-year like story. So it's like I don't feel comfortable in sharing everything." She's like, "Okay, we'll just not go on that street." And she ended up going on that street, and I was like, "What? What?" People. Anyways, that family is out of my life, so I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna go now. Goodbye.